Hi, this is the Outdoor Preacher. I had to tell you about an article I read off of Newsweek Time magazine, and it had to do with earthquakes, the prediction of earthquakes. And what was interesting, that they're sort of predicting, but then they kind of retract on the end of the article. I think it was because they don't want to cause panic, but they believe a scientist, two scientists have been looking at the correlation between the slowing of time by a millisecond could affect earthquakes. They've been examining earthquake 7.0 magnitude on the Richter scale. They've been examining that in correlation with the motion or the spinning of the Earth that is slowing down. It's slowing down to just a millisecond has an effect upon the Earth. Now they quoted some kind of a Newton principle that when you get motion, that when the motion slows up, it puts outward pressure. And they stated that the crust is like 1,200 miles thick, and that this motion, when it's slowed up, just a slight, like I said, the atomic clock, they were saying, 1 millisecond produces enough outward motion to cause earthquakes. And they said that you got a 6 or 5 year window, that this could happen when the Earth slows up like that. It kind of reminded me of some of these preachers talking about time slowing up. Well, literally, time did slow up in 2011, and it slowed up by a millisecond. So here we are in 2017, and we saw 2 great earthquakes, one in Mexico and the other one's in Iraq, Iran. I was writing a book during those times when it happened, and I put in the Mexico one, and then later on I added the one that happened in Iran. It's kind of ironic. It seems like this year I was just on to, I felt an urgency in my spirit about the earthquakes. And I believe, I've known this for years, and I believed it in years, that the rapture takes place during a time of earthquakes, and we must be prepared. And it's an urgent message on my spirit. I think more people would have this urgency within them if they just, try to get sin out of your life. That the pure in heart shall see God. You got to get yourself, as best as you can, so you can concentrate on the Holy Spirit, what He's trying to say to us. And well, anyway, 2018 is supposed to be a time of many more quakes, and who knows? It might just be that every quake or earthquake potential, or places that have potential to have quakes, faults and fault lines. Well, anyway, the time, it could just, they all say they're locked and loaded. It's a term, and it's preeminent, but if these lock and loaded faults, they're just ready, that might be the thing in 2018. We get that more pressure. We have those pressure, it could be at the end of this year, but we get this pressure pushing on the crust, causing that slippage and that slidage of an earthquake from the core of the Earth, radiating that energy in an upward motion. But anyway, it makes sense to me. It's really an urgent message. I think they downplayed the article, but I'll put a link of showing you where it's at, and you can read it for yourself. It actually gives a link to where you can pay some money to buy the article from the scientist. $6, that's not too bad just to see it. And if you want to buy the PDF, they went like $38. But anyway, if you got the money, it might be worth reading. But that side-to-side motion, the Earth, underneath that crust, like 1,200 miles of thick crust, there's liquid that is made of iron and nickel, and it's lava, and it just kind of sloshes. The Time magazine kind of said it's like a bucket of water going back and forth. And the scientists in their abstract, they said, well, it's like a pendulum going back and forth. But then now you got that 1 millisecond. Just think of that 1 millisecond slow up of the spinning of the Earth on its axis. But anyway, now you got that upward motion. Boy, if it slows up anymore, I can tell you those rich people are going to start building more and more of those shelters beneath the ground for protection. They believe something big is happening, and they're not going to tell you that. They're going to downplay it as much as they can. But I actually believe, like, people hear all these booming sound, boom, 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 boom. You know, it's just everywhere at different times, but it's in our nation. I believe it's actually construction being done under the ground. They're blasting rock, you know, and a lot of them, they're saying that the structures they're making, you know, are actually earthquake proof. You know, I didn't mention that in my last video, but actually it's not just bomb shelter proof, it's earthquake proof. They believe it's going to be good enough to survive a big earthquake. I believe a lot of them will collapse, but anyway, that's another story. Anyway, this is the urgent message I wanted to give to you today. To look at this article, and you watchmen out there, read it and start preaching. Jesus is coming. This is the Outdoor Preacher. Bless you.